Hi, this is Emily. Welcome to What's Cooking with Reach for Resources. Today we're making a taco salad. So I have all my ingredients here. Let me show you. I have cheese. Let's see, there you go. We have got cheese, we've got green peppers, we've got grape tomatoes, lots of greens. I have venison, but you can use ground beef. And then I have some ingredients for a dressing that you can kind of whip up with whatever you have at home. I have salsa, sour cream, ranch, and then some of this seasoning, but you could use taco seasoning or anything else you have laying around. So let's get started. First, I'm going to start by washing my hands, so I'll be right back. Now that I have clean hands and a clean surface, I'm going to start by cutting out my onions. So this is an onion that I got from my CSA. So it's got both the green sides and it's a red onion down here. So I'm going to cut off the green part and save that for later. I think it would make a good topping. And so yeah, I'm going to save that one for later. But first, to cut an onion, I just kind of cut the two ends, the top two ends. So I got kind of the top and the bottom cut off now. I am using a pretty large knife, so just make sure if you're not comfortable using a knife that you get help at this time. And you could also use a smaller paring knife as well. I just use this one because it is good for everything that I'm doing, and then I don't have so many dishes. Okay, so first cut off the two ends, and then I'll cut it in half. And then you can kind of take off like the top layer of the onion so that you're kind of just left with the clean two halves here. And now I'm just going to dice the onion. So it's good to hold things like this so you don't cut your finger off. So I'll do that. And then just kind of cut your way through the onion. One direction. Oh, kind of getting a little slippery there, so get my fingers out of the way. Sometimes there's this like skin that doesn't cut up quite as well. I'll just discard that. All right, so cut through your onion one direction, and then we're going to go the other way too, so that you get small pieces of onion. All right. I'm just going to continue chopping till I have oh, sneaky one on the back. My onion's not too strong. It's making my eyes water just a little bit.
The next thing that we're gonna do is start our burner here, and I have a gas oven or a gas stove, so that's how I start mine. I'm gonna put a little bit, just a tiny bit of olive oil in there. So let me just get my olive oil out here. And if you're measuring, I would do probably just a teaspoon of olive oil. There we go. And let's grab our onion here. We're gonna put that in the pan. So kind of safely get your knife out of the way here, and we'll just get this in the pan. So I'm going to cook my onion for probably just 2 to 3 minutes to let it get started. And then I'm going to put my meat in there. And then while the meat's cooking, I'm going to get all the other things chopped up for the salad. Alright, so we're just going to let that start to brown a little bit. And once it starts to turn a little more clear, then you know you can move on. If you don't have a lot of time, you can put your meat in now, but we're going to wait and give those onions just a minute or two. I got my heat on about medium here, and I got my venison. Ground beef is just fine. Venison is what we had in the freezer here. And I'm just going to break it up a little bit. Looks like it's already going pretty quick, so I'm going to maybe turn this down just a tiny bit because I'm going to be doing other things while I'm having this meat cook. So I just put it right on top of the onions there and then spread her out. And then I'm going to go back and chop a couple things and then come back and stir this every couple of minutes. So you don't want it to sit too long.
I got my venison cooking over there. I'm going to check on that periodically. But now I'm going to cut up my greens. So I've got romaine hearts here, a few different varieties. So I'm going to chop this up and then wash it in my salad spinner. So I'm going to cut it up and then put it in this little basket. And then we're going to rinse this under the water. And then you kind of pump it like that. And then it kind of dries it out for you. So I'm going to put this over here and just start chopping up my lettuce. And I can go check on the venison in just a minute here so that it doesn't get too brown in some areas. My lettuce, some of it's good and some of it's not so good. So I'm going to take off those parts that are browning a little bit. And the rest of it looks all right. When you're cutting your lettuce, you can cut it down the long way and then just kind of cut it this way. You can also just tear your lettuce, or you can just buy pre-cut iceberg or romaine or whatever it is, and that makes a really quick option. Usually those bags of lettuce that are already cut up, you don't have to wash either, so that really saves some time. Alright, so we got my first head of romaine chopped up. I'm going to go stir my venison over here. And there we go. I turned it down because I decided I'm going to make some taco seasoning. I don't have any store-bought taco seasoning, but I'm going to make my own, so I can show you how to do that. I'm going to include a link to this, which, oh, there you go, you can see a little bit. It's a recipe for a homemade taco seasoning. Turns out I'm missing some of the key ingredients, but I'm just going to wing it here. So this called for a tablespoon chili powder, a 4th teaspoon garlic powder, a 4th teaspoon onion powder, 4th teaspoon dried pepper, chili flakes, oregano, paprika, cumin, sea salt, and black pepper. So I'll get to mixing that up now.
The venison meat's coming along.
Alright, now that my taco seasoning is made, I'm going to take just a tablespoon of it and put it in the meat once the meat's cooked. So my meat's looking pretty brown over there. I'm going to mix it in, and then the rest I'm going to save for the dressing. So about a tablespoon should be good. I have 2 pounds of meat. Depends on how you like your seasoning. You can add more or less, but I think 1 tablespoon for 2 pounds should be okay for me. So I'm going to do that. And then just kind of mix it up while you're over here. My venison is looking pretty cooked. Another thing you can do is kind of put a little bit of water in there and simmer it with the seasoning for 10 to 15 minutes. You can cover it as well, and then it should kind of help those seasonings blend with your meat. Just want to make sure all of these little bits are broken up over here. I need a cameraman. It's kind of hard to talk and record yourself. Alright, I'm going to put some water in there now and then get a cover for it and let it cook for 10-15 more minutes while I cut my veggies. I'm making sure that my venison over here is on low while it's simmering. I now have 2 green peppers that I'm going to cut up. Any color is great. I like more color to my salad, but this is what we had in the fridge today. And so to cut a pepper, just cut the top off. For this one, I'm probably going to go around that stem, so you got to be careful. The big knife isn't really the best option for this one, but I'll make it work. All right, so that one should be good, and now we'll cut it in half. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go clear. I have a compost where I put my food particles that we don't use, and then it turns into dirt. So I'm going to go empty out these seeds and give these another rinse. All right, so now I've cleaned out my peppers. I've washed them. I rinsed them once before cutting them and once after. And I just used my hands to kind of peel out that skin that's left in there and the seeds. Okay, so you can cut these however you works best in your salad. I usually cut them kind of vertically first. You could leave them this big if you want. Sometimes I do that when I'm cooking them, and then I'll have like a fajita salad. But for me today, I'll probably chop them, so I'll end up with little squares. So we'll cut them all vertically first, and then I will rotate and chop them the other way. And just be very careful with your knife. Mistakes can happen. Alright, so now I can do kind of 2 batches. I'll just rotate them and kind of roughly chop them this way. I don't need them to be all perfectly uniform or tiny or anything like that. Just smaller, kind of bite-sized chunks is what I'm going for here. There we go. Now I'm just going to put these in a container so that I can kind of use them for leftovers. Because today I'm just going to make one salad, and then I'll hopefully have enough stuff that I can make a salad as well tomorrow. So I've also decided I have this corn in the freezer, so I'm going to throw this in the salad too. And it's frozen, so it said put 2 tablespoons of water in there, so I did, and then microwave it covered for 6 minutes. We have these great silicone covers, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just pop this in the microwave over here, and it'll be ready when everything else is. Sometimes I just do salsa on top. Sometimes I just do sour cream on top. And then other times we do this mix at home. So I'm going to do equal parts. This is a 1/3 cup here, and I have a 1/2 cup as well. So I'll do a 1/3 cup sour cream. And then we put some ranch in there. So I'll do equal parts sour cream and ranch. 1/3 cup of each. I'm going to pour in the rest of my seasoning that I made earlier. And then I'm going to finish it up with some salsa. There you go. Ours is just medium, homemade, fresh salsa. I'm going to do just a little bit more. There we go. All right, let me grab a spatula to mix this up. All right, here I am. Here's my rubber spatula. I can get the rest of the sour cream and ranch out of here. And we'll just stir it up. Now it's time to get washing everything. Things are coming together. I'm almost done. So I just rinsed my tomatoes, and now I'm going to go rinse my greens and wash them out with my salad spinner. Okay, so after you spin it once, you can see there's quite a bit of water left in there. So I'm going to go dump this out. Spin it again, and you can kind of keep repeating that until you don't get a big pool of water at the bottom. Let's see if we got more water in there. Much less. So I'll maybe do one more time. So my lettuce is chopped, my tomatoes, are clean. I have my dressing done. I've got my peppers. Now I'm going to add some cheese, and I usually just use the same cutting board. As long as you're not cutting meat in between or before any of this, it should be safe. Okay, so I'm going to open up my cheese and just dice up some blocks of cheese. I kind of like it in blocks, but you could also use a cheese grater and just do smaller bits of cheese, or just buy grated cheese, and that saves you a step too. All right, here we go. So I have both pepper jack and cheddar that I'm working with today. I'm going to do just kind of half of a block of each. I'm not planning to eat it all today. I like to prepare salads for the whole week, or for at least a few days of lunches, and then eat them throughout the week. So I usually make much more than I actually am going to eat in one day. But then it's less cooking throughout the week. So even if you can make an extra serving or two, it would be nice. Save your leftovers, store the items separately, and then you have lunch for the week. Alright, so I did about half of that. There is a hair that is really hanging on. Alright. Okay, half of that, half of that. So now I just have kind of chunks. I'm just going to cut them and kind of thin things like that, and then just do cubes. But again, you can do whatever works for you. Last thing I'm going to cut up is these green onions. Alright, some of these ends are kind of wilty, so I'm just going to chop those off and cut up what looks fresh. Alright, so now you have everything chopped up and cleaned. Time to build the salad. So I've got a bed of greens here, pretty healthy portion. I'm going to do a couple scoops of each thing. I got my corn that was hot just from the microwave. These are my beans, a couple spoonfuls of those. And let's see what I have over here. My fresh stuff, I've got tomatoes. Oops, they're kind of off the screen there, but I'll just plop those right on top. Same with kind of a handful of green peppers, and I'm just kind of preparing for myself and my family. But if you are sharing with other people in your house, that it's probably a good idea to use serving spoons for all these things. Get my cheese on here. Can't forget that, it's the best part. And both kinds of cheese. I'm going to top with green onions. Oh my gosh, I've already got a mountain. I don't even have my meat yet, so I'm going to put some meat on here. Make sure I turned everything off and it's safe. Usually they say a quarter cup of meat is about a serving, so I'm not measuring, but that's about what I'm shooting for on my salad. And then that's everything. So I'll put a little bit of my salsa mixture on top. And yep. Usually with dressings, I only do like a tablespoon or two, but this is a pretty big salad, so I maybe went a little bit more than that. And then I like to top it with some green Tabasco, personally. If you like hot sauce, you could add that. There we go. Time to enjoy. Have fun.